Hey, welcome to Texas!
He's a 10.
I choose this family.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 158 of 911 Lone Star Roundup. I'm one of your hosts, Grace, and with me are my lovely co-hosts, Katie and EJ.
Hey guys.
Today, we will finally be talking about 911 Nashville. And in this episode, we're going to be covering episodes 1 through 3, which are titled Pilot, Hell and High Water, and Forces of Nature. Mm-hmm. And, you all know we have everything to talk about. We're going to be diving into this. So we're just going to get straight into things. I know I have a lot of thoughts.
Diving into a new series.
It's like diving into something that I don't think anybody's excited about. Meaning us, I'm mostly keeping this as us. Just because, I think I watched the first episode, either the week of or the week after came out. Then I didn't touch it until just a week ago. So almost 2 months later, it was just it made
I touched
me
it all
so
today.
hesitant.
Yeah.
I touched it all today. I couldn't bring myself to do it sooner, and also I had so much else happening with work and school. I was like, I could just put it off a little bit, and then I woke up this morning and I intentionally set my alarms early because I knew I'd have to watch it. And I was like, oh fuck, now I need to actually watch it.
Well, and I think so, and I mean, you got to think about it too. This is the first time we're introducing a new series to our podcast. Because when we started the podcast, we were focusing on 911 Lone Star. And then we were every once in a while, when we had a break from Lone Star, we would talk about 911. So this is the first time we're actually introducing brand new characters, a brand new series to the universe. And it's just kind of weird because all summer we're hearing about the show. We're no one's 100% sold on it. We weren't even sure we wanted to watch it.
Yeah, and it's all the things I saw about it were them filming in Nashville and needing extras. And so, of course, I saw all these videos of people doing little vlogs of them being extras in the show, which I'm if I lived there, I might be hey, I want to do that just, for whatever, to be
sure.
Hey, I did this. But I feel a lot of the things I saw about it, I'm just I don't know. I mean, it feels like they were trying to sell something. And it's when they said that they were coming out with a new series for ABC in the 911 universe. It was okay, I was open to the idea. But then the more we saw about it, I was just
yeah,
I don't know about this one, guys.
I do like that it's filmed in Nashville where the show is set. That's cool. But as we get to be talking about it, you'll quickly find out how I feel about this show.
Yeah. I also want to say, EJ, you brought up a really good point with the fact that this is the first time we're introducing a show. But with that in mind, this is also we started this podcast because we all loved 911 and we all loved Lone Star. Mm-hmm. And our passion for Lone Star had us creating this podcast. Yeah. And we all also loved 911. We had no previous love for Nashville. In fact, I think we all held some resentment that we were getting a new show instead of continuing with Lone Star.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, you all know, if you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time at this point, you all know that we've all been not so sure about Nashville coming out because of everything we've seen. So I did want to, say, we were obviously we were always going to talk at least somewhat favorably about 911 and Lone Star, but now we're in kind of new waters. So
definitely new LRI water.
Yes, and it might be hell. It might actually be hell. So we're gonna get started. No delaying the inevitable at this point. So we have an opening, and we start off with the Kane Brown concert, which I've only listened to a couple songs of Kane Brown, but I love Kane Brown as an artist.
I do too.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that it was him because actually, behind the scenes wise, I think they said, before they started filming that, the first episode was going to involve a country singer. When they said it was him, I thought it was funny. I never saw the episode. Eventually, I want to watch it. But, when he was in Fire Country.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny how he's in Nashville.
He didn't play Kane Brown in the show.
No, he didn't.
Country.
But,
he played a different. But in this one, he did.
He starred in that as somebody else.
And honestly, I thought he did a pretty good job, at least in this, his few scenes in here. I don't know that he was acting any different than his self. Obviously, I've never met him.
I feel like it's more natural. But still cool. Yeah. Still cool.
Yeah.
Still great. Love seeing Kane Brown. And we get a tornado warning. The Kane Brown, like the concert has only just started, and we see that wind is picking up, and a tech guy named Manny is warning about pyrotechnics as a storm looms, and he does them anyway. Like, okay. Also, like, I am fully ready to acknowledge I may be just wrong or uneducated. Tornado warnings, isn't there generally a little bit more warning?
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and the storm can shift from a minor storm to a tornado pretty quickly. I don't know a lot about it, but I have watched Twister and Twisters and some other of that stuff. So, and I know that's why a lot of like storm chasers are out there, because they're trying to help make the warnings longer by being able to figure out how tornadoes work so they can like predict them sooner. But yeah, I think they were definitely playing with the timeline a little bit.
I think it was mainly that it was a full-blown funnel that we suddenly saw, and I was like, oh, okay. But again, I am not knowledgeable about tornadoes.
Granted, so, like, this is kind of like going, we're starting with this to draw us in, but really this doesn't hit until later in the episode.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. I think I was mainly thinking about like how it's like clear skies, like very low wind actually, but like we see a funnel in the distance. And I think one of my main problems, and I'll just say this now, I won't even so I don't even have to bring this up the rest of the episode, is that one of my problems was that there was such low wind up until the tornado actually like ran over them, so to speak. Like, that's it. Moving on. I just wanted to ask you guys, because I don't know anything about tornadoes. I just know they're scary. I know one blew through the town near me not like a couple of years ago, but Maryland's not really tornado central. Not the part I am. But anyway, so, you know, the pyrotechnics go off against the stage manager's advice. But from there, right after that happens, the threat quickly escalates. A tornado hits, and the light bars and like the whole stage setup just comes down on the whole concert, which, you know, that is quite unfortunate. But, you know, we're rolling back, and we're at a rodeo. In case you didn't know, we were already in country town. We are in country town, guys.
Not wrong.
Like, I'm just expecting like Judd to walk around the corner or something like that.
Judd. Yep.
Yeah, like, oh, of course.
He would have been right at home, and honestly, he would have chased all the fake country people out of that town. Like, Texas country and Nashville country, I think, are just very different. And I've never been to either of those states. Nashville's not a state, but you know what I mean. I've never been.
I have a friend that lives in Nashville, which I kind of forgot about until recently, and I was like, oh yeah.
Get them to watch the show and see how that is.
I'm sure he's not at all interested in the show, but
fair enough.
Yeah, I would love to know different takes on it, but yeah, the whole rodeo thing, like, we knew about it. We knew that, like, at least Don was like a former rodeo rider, or that was something he did also along with firefighting.
You say that we know?
Like, interesting.
One of the things they announced about his character early on, so it wasn't a shock, but it was like, oh, we're gonna jump right in. All right.
Okay, I'll be real with it, guys. I completely forgot that, so I was like, okay, this is out of the book. I think I've willfully done a lot to forget most of what I knew about the series before going into this. So, yeah, I was like, where the fuck are we at a rodeo? So clearly, I missed that memo a bit, but it's fine. But so we go back 2 days to a rodeo event where Don is competing with his son, Ryan. And there's a moment where Don falls off of a horse, and obviously, you know, as sons do, Ryan is teasing him about it. And after the rodeo, Don and Ryan talk. Ryan senses something's off, like Don's holding something back. Yeah, this is totally original, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have this at the beginning of Lone
Obviously,
Star.
we're all thinking the same thing. It's like, when TK thought, like, something was off Owen, obviously it was, because Owen wasn't telling him about the cancer in season 1, and that was it. And it's like, honestly, this happened, right, past tense, with Buck and Bobby, too, a bit, and they weren't even bio. Yeah, no, like, it's funny, because all 3 captains all have, like, a similar thing in common. They all have different secrets. Obviously, Owen's was the cancer. Bobby's was about his family being dead and it being his fault. And then Don's is just like, oh, I just have, like, you know, another son out there, so you have a half-brother.
I just have complicated morals. It's fine. Guys, y'all are not ready for this. I think this is the scene where I was like, oh, I already dislike him. And by him, I mean Dom. Spoiler alert for the rest of the episode, guys. It does not get better. I still dislike Dom. But it's in the scene. I was like, fishy. Get the hell out of my face. Then we move on to the firehouse, station 113.
Couldn't have gotten a different number. Couldn't have done anything. Any other number.
I actually kind of like that it's like 126, 118, 113.
Yeah, so part of me likes it. Part of me wants to rag on it because I like the symmetry of them all being like 30 numbers, all kind of being close together. But also, Team US, Lone Star. That's all I can do.
Yeah, I think that's I think that was kind of what got me. I was like, really? Like, I guess I would have wanted something like because we had Station 19, which was a series. It was a fire series. And so I know we have 2 digits shows. And I get that, oftentimes they will use 3-digit numbers in like fiction because most places don't have 300-400, stations. So like station 323 or whatever is, but I was like, a little more original or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like it's something to like look too deep in.
That's fair. And I remember I looked up how many stations like each particular area had at one point. I'm pretty sure I said it on here, or at least I was talking to you guys. I don't remember if we were on podcasts at the time. And I remember that they were all somewhat in the right area. I don't know. I would have even liked maybe a like 106 or something like that. Just kind of, we have the 126, the 118, 103 even. I don't know. Go down with the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just
they
me.
Might
it's
have
fine.
did it because they wanted it to like kind of sound similar and not it to be like
right.
Like, sound off, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, we haven't even gotten to the actual scene. We were just talking about the station. We meet other members of the station. So we've got Taylor Thompson, who is a young firefighter. She's practicing singing, playing her guitar. Clearly, she's got musical aspirations. And honestly, nice voice. Like, she's doing great. We also meet the dispatcher, Cammie Raleigh, and she's helping Taylor with songwriting over FaceTime, which honestly I thought was sweet. It was fine. And we also learned that Cammie's husband died and is Blythe's brother. So she's Ryan's aunt. And in the scene, we also get Don revealing that he's looking for a Roby. And also, like, throughout the last couple scenes, Don's clearly hiding something. And it is even more evident by the scene, and it's kind of ridiculous. Moving on, then we get the storm. We get the storm warning hitting the Hart family. So Don gets an alert about the incoming storm. Roxy, who's the firehouse medic, or as they refer to her at one point, like the in-house physician, it brings him to the news feed about severe weather. So, disaster's incoming, setting up the next couple of episodes. Then we get another star of the whole show, or the smoke show, may I say. So we meet Blue Benny. He is working as a stripper, dressed as a firefighter at a club.
Because why wouldn't he be?
Why wouldn't he be?
Right?
The scene made me cringe just a lot. A lot. Like, no hate on, like, him. And I know things behind the scenes that just, like, I'm like, okay. But, like, there's also parts of the scene where I was just like, oh, there were like behind the scenes stuff that I thought like sad.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like it definitely does make me think of that one scene in. Sorry guys, we're going to do this a lot. Definitely makes me think of the one scene in Lone Star where there was the surfers. I think they were also dressed as firefighters, and Paul had to help this one girl get like a tiara detangled from her hair or something like that. I don't remember the exact context, but I remember there was a scene like that featured strippers dressed as firefighters.
Yeah,
and
she
like
had
a birthday party.
No, it was glitter
in her eyes. Yeah,
I think,
but someone else. I think it got lodged in someone's head. I'm pretty sure. Was it something? Because I thought it was.
I remember the glitter in her eye and Paul washing the glitter out of her eye. I think a tiara probably was in that scene, but I don't think it was like related to how Paul was helping.
No, because Paul helped her with the glitter, and then somebody else had gotten the tiara in her.
Wasn't she the girl who he originally like Josie? Wasn't it Josie?
I think so.
Yeah. It was Jesse. Gosh, guys, it's been so long. But yeah, there was definitely a tiara mishap in that scene. I remember a lot of blood surrounding it, but not with Josie specifically. Anyway, call back. So he gives a lap dance, but gets reprimanded. And it definitely shows, his life not being tied to all that yet. And he stands up. So he stood up for the girl that he gave a lap dance to because he saw people picking on her or her friends picking on her.
Well, it was other people
right?
there. It was these other group of girls, and the girl just happened to be in a wheelchair, and she kept saying "Oh, you're blocking my view," very nicely and stuff. And these girls were obviously thought they were all that, and they were just we don't care. And so he obviously did that because of he was oh, they were picking on her and stuff, and he kind of made her feel special in that moment, which good on him for not being a complete asshole like some guys might have, where they might have not even seen her. And I know the behind the scenes stuff was that the actress that played the woman unfortunately passed away, and she was only 23. She had some illness.
She was only my age.
Something. I can't remember what it is.
I remember seeing that, but I having not watched the show at the time, I had no context. So yeah, I remember hearing that.
I believe it was some type of muscle disease or something like that. So that's really, really sad. But I remember the guy that plays Blue, Hunter, I believe his name is, saying how nice she was on set and how great she was. And this is, I believe, her first role back to acting after having to take a break or something.
Okay.
And I did read that they did do a dedication to her, I believe, at the end of episode 4, which good on them.
Right.
We'll definitely be looking out for it when we watch the next few episodes. But yeah, so clearly Blue's got a heart. And we get a scene. I have never seen one of these contraptions before.
Oh, I have. Okay, I haven't seen them in person, but I know about them. They're very popular, obviously, in bigger cities. I know Nashville's one of the ones that they are and stuff. Yeah, I've seen them.
They look like a whole. They gave me anxiety. This scene not helping it any. So we get a pedal pub, which is basically one giant bike.
Yeah, it's a party bike, and to keep it moving, they have to basically pedal, obviously a bike, and obviously it's also a bar, so they're drinking at the same time, which is maybe not the best
just seems like a
combination.
I guess that's why they've got someone supervising. They've got a driver. I suppose she's probably steering, plus has got access to the brakes. But yeah, I'm not sure about this.
And I've seen a similar thing where it's actual bar seats and it's a bike, but this is a whole other level to that whole thing.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of people. So it's full of bachelorette partiers, and it crashes in downtown Nashville. And Blue, who's still in his stripper fireman outfit, jumps in to help. He improvises by using stripper oil to free a trapped woman, the bride, from the wreckage. Station 13 arrives on scene, and Don sees Blue in action and is visibly shocked. And this is when Don's secret is revealed. Yeah. So
I was honestly surprised with how fast this came out, because I was honestly expecting this to be a big secret that they didn't reveal, but obviously I think we all they wanted to obviously fast forward Blue coming into the firehouse faster, so that's probably why they revealed it in this episode. But it was somewhat surprising that, oh, okay, we're going this way. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely felt the same. I did expect it to get drawn out a little bit, but here we go. So in a big reveal, Don tells Ryan that Blue is his son. Don says to Ryan, he's your brother. And of course, naturally, Ryan is upset and confused. There is immediate tension. He didn't know about Blue, obviously. Essentially, it gets revealed that Blythe and Don split up when Ryan was a kid. And during the time that Ryan went away to a sleepaway camp for a little while, Don reconnected with his ex, Dixie, And she got pregnant, but then Blythe and Dawn decided to give things another shot. And by the time they got
he
back
found
together,
out after they got back together that she was pregnant.
yes. And yeah, so the Hearts apparently financially supported Blue, but Dawn never had any contact with him. Which, okay, sure. Blue is offered a candidate probie position at Station 113, and Dawn makes this offer, bringing Blue into the house legitimately.
This was interesting how they did this, because they basically said that he was going to get like on the job training and then go through the academy at the same time.
I cannot tell you how much I hated this scene.
Yeah, I just felt like very forced. Like it was just like, oh, like I don't know. I feel like it's fine, but like it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna like fast track this. Like this is what like the way they legitimately thought to do that.
Way too nepo baby this. I'm sorry, but like he only got this because his dad felt bad. I don't know what was happening there, but
I'm getting nepo baby from both children, so honestly,
yes.
That's for sure.
Because like, listen, here's the thing: is I don't even mind Ryan being a lieutenant. I don't even mind the idea of. I don't mind the idea of him having like a more officer role as opposed to like. I guess our two comparisons would be Buck and TK, which they were not in officer positions at all. However, it's got the nepo baby flavor, and I don't like it. And then combining this, it's like, oh, nepo baby, nepo guilt baby. Like I pausing because there are a couple things I don't like about this whole shebang that's happening here. First of all, yes, it's not technically cheating because they were separated.
They were on a break. I had to say it.
Yes. They were like technically split up, and we also don't really, I think, know how long that separation was, but I'm assuming it can't have been that long since they hadn't told Ryan yet and were planning to do it, but then got back together. And I know Blythe said that she also apparently, quote unquote, had her fun.
Good for you.
However, the fact that Don just, he happened to run into his ex, which he swears is accidental. He happened to run into his ex at like a nightclub, and he hooked up with her, and he was so silly and did not wrap his willy. And there was enough. Thank you for appreciating that. Don't be silly, kids. Wrap your willy, or wrap your partner's willy. And there was a fucking just the fact that it was so ready to go bang another woman, especially, and it makes it worse that she was his ex. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. Nothing you can say to me at this point in time convinces me that you give a shit that much, that you actually care that much about your wife.
It was intentional. Maybe not. I mean, it takes two. I'm not gonna
for sure.
But like, I feel like we haven't even met Dixie yet, but I'm just gonna say this after, and it will become, obviously we've all seen it, and it's gonna become clear, obviously, when we talk more about her. But like, if I'm thinking about that whole situation, it very much gives like, she obviously wanted a kid from him to just be like tangled up in him, so that way even if like he wasn't a part of Blue's life as a child when he was growing up, even if that she was being like essentially like given money from them, and I'm sure it was a lot of money because they are rich because of Blythe. So yeah, it's a lot of it is showing.
Yeah, and I don't want to I don't want to unfairly place like blame in the situation, because there's a lot of people that blame in this situation. But like at the same time, I just that whole scenario, and the fact that I'm like, they can't have been separated that long. And then they get back. I don't know.
Well, if he was at sleepaway camp, that's like in the summer. So at most, like it's maybe like a few weeks, maybe a month at max. Like you're not going to send your kid away for like 3 months out of the summer.
Especially depending on how old he was. Because we still don't have an answer on the age difference between Blue and Ryan. Like, there is a vague mention of the last 20 years somewhere in there, but is that rounding up? Is that rounding down? Like,
Yeah, I feel
how
like
is this guy? Like, I think the actor's 26, and they tend to hold kind of true to actors' ages in these shows, but I don't know. That I would like an answer on that at some point because I need a timeline in my head.
I love a good timeline.
I love a good
Timelines
timeline.
don't always
911 is so
give
bad at it.
accuracy, but even so, I love a good timeline.
911 is so
I
bad
love a
at
good
it,
map.
notoriously. But yes, exactly. But so yeah, this scene put Dawn further on my shit list because I was just like, what is going on? In my notes, this is about when I started putting throw this whole man away and throw this whole woman away about Dixie. Because get out of my face with that shit. Moving on to interesting emergency. We get a call with a whole kite emergency. And I don't think we want to touch on this like too much because we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. But is there something like, did you want to talk about something in particular, Case, since you're the one who wrote the notes and you wanted to mention it?
I have several things to say about this.
I almost
EJ, go for it.
I almost even didn't even put this in here because I was like, it's not really important. But I guess I'll give a little context to my thoughts. Like, it's like a kid like playing with a kite, and then they're like up in the air, like floating essentially. And like, and I've seen several people like that talked about the show be like, what the heck with this? Because like, okay, so they're like talking like just a normal like phone call first or whatever, Cammy with these people. Then she's like, I'm gonna switch to a video call. Which I'm just like, do they really do this? I could understand if it was like somebody that like couldn't talk on the phone. But like, I'm just like, I don't know. That was like a bit of a stretch for me. People are like, why does it feel like they're just on FaceTime? It was very odd. And it was just like, okay, like the effects in the scene with this girl, I'm just like, it was like, I don't usually like, I try not to nitpick like certain things, but this was like so bad.
It was really challenging. The whole thing, and I was like, I've flown kites before. And yes, when the wind hits right, like you can get some wind and it will fly. But that kite was so small and so crappy.
Lifting a whole ass little girl off of the ground?
Yeah, even 40
like, 2 pounds.
Like that kid would not have lifted off the ground like that. And then like they tried to grab the blanket to use it as like her to drop into, and then like the gal had her wrap the cord around her hand, and I'm like, well, there's your first stupid mistake. And I was just like, and then the FaceTime, like I'm sure they're probably starting to utilize that because I know you can call like text to 911 now, so I wouldn't be surprised if FaceTime type emergency.
So I looked it up.
Yeah,
and this is a thing, but it is an incredibly new thing, like last 2 months kind of new thing. So this might be their way of trying to like be like, hey, to the public, this is I don't know. I still am calling a bit of bullshit on it. I'll be real.
Yeah. Technology is obviously like rapidly changing, of course. We all know this. And like, do I think it's cool that like if this, that this is a thing, if this is a thing that's changing, do I think it's cool? Yes, I could see where it could be useful for a various amount of reasons. Like, it is cool that they're like allowing this option. But like,
yeah,
I don't think I would be comfortable like if we were starting off like if I had to be in that situation where I had to call. I don't think I'd be comfortable like being on video call with somebody I did not know.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's usually, but 911, I don't know. I feel like I would feel a little different about that. Like, I probably wouldn't care quite as much, but yeah. I don't know. This was an odd scene. And I second everything you guys are saying.
Yeah,
just a general, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
But honestly, we just had 20 people get their fingers ripped off from a stupid rope in the last 911, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we really talk?
That's like different though, because that's like more believable to me. And it's just not like that I'm like, oh my god, that would totally happen. I'm sure it did happen. like, yes, they probably, like, made it more extreme. I'm not trying to discount, or I'm not trying to be like, man, this would really happen, like, so much. No, nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, there's just, like, things that happen in 911 or even Lone Star where I'm just like, what is this silly show trying to do now? Where I'm just like,
Silly
I can
little
laugh
woo-woo.
about it and I can be
Silly
like,
little
hey.
woo-woo.
But in this case, I'm just like, what the heck are they doing?
They're starting off early. They're starting off early with the dubiousness.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got Ryan and Blythe talking about Blue and Dixie. And Blythe mentions that when her and Dawn stayed together, Dixie punished Dawn by keeping Blue away from him. And I think at this point I had a note where I felt for Ryan this whole damn time, I would just like to say. And at this point is when I wrote in my notes, Ryan is the only one with any sense. Because he is appropriately concerned about the situation and also about Blue possibly joining the fire. Like, he's the only one with any sense at this point in time, was my thoughts.
Yeah.
I think around that time, I also was like...
No, I gotta be honest, it did take me, like, a few episodes where I'm just, like, to get warmed up to him.
To Ryan?
Because, yeah, for, like, various reasons. Like, nothing against, like, him as, like, a character or anything. It was just, like, I don't know, like, it's hard, like, I don't blame him for, like, having the reactions he did. It's a hard thing to learn and stuff, but it was just, like, I don't know, it was just, like, it did take a minute where I feel like, in some senses, he was being unfair, but, like, in other senses, like, I'm like, oh, this is definitely valid, but, like, it was just, like, up and down for me.
Yeah, I actually did warm up to him kind of early. I think it's just because I felt bad for him. Like, I could kind of sympathize with where he was in the situation. So, yeah. Surprisingly, I think he was actually one of the first people I warmed up to. And I can be a hard sell on characters, so that does say something. Anyway, moving on. Now we meet that bitch, as I describe her many times in my notes. We see Blue's mother, Dixie Bennings. Also, what is with these names? I'm sorry. Like, can we just talk about these names for a second?
They went for, like, the most country names.
Okay, well, I will say this. Actress who's playing Dixie is Leanne Rimes. And it has been said that Blue's name comes from her very first single, which was Blue in the 90s. So it was an homage to Leanne Rimes' like, actual country past.
I don't know how I feel about that because it's not like she's playing herself. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I feel about that. I don't really know what to say. I just think it's like, I can understand, like, paying, like, you know, like, doing something like that, but I'm also like, I don't know. It's just...
See, I'm also ambivalent about it. I think I'm ambivalent about it generally, but also, like, I have no connection to Leanne Rimes. I'm sure I've seen her in something. I know of her, but I don't really care.
Have no connection to her whatsoever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems forced. Like, I feel like some of these things just seem forced.
I don't even mind the name Blue. Like, I think I minded it a little bit at first when we were first learning details about the cast and everything. I was like, Blue? Really? I'm more okay with it now. Yeah, I feel like I've seen it with, like, the E and the W and the not W, jeez, the E and the U switched around.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just being like the color, but it's fine. But I'm thinking like Dixie Bennings, Blythe Hart, Dawn Hart, Ryan. Were they supposed to originally be Sharp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dawn Sharp. Yeah, no. I don't know what's right. Taylor Thompson. Like, that's fine. It's just two same initials, but I don't know why that. It's just all like, okay, whatever. Moving on. Can everyone tell I'm having a whole time with this whole thing? So Dixie Bennings is a former backup singer who is bitter about her music career. And essentially, she's pressuring Blue, and she wants him to use his connection with Dawn to get in, like part of a scheme.
Oh yeah, totally a scheme.
And there's a mention of Dixie needing surgery, poly P surgery, which I looked up, and it seems to be the removal of tissues from different spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it gives her motive. Like, she's clearly looking for money of some kind. I think that's at least part of the scheme. So obviously the clear, answer to this is to encourage her son to join a dangerous career. and also be in a kind of messy situation. Like,
Yeah, like make
I
that
feel
make
bad for
sense.
Blue.
I do
I
feel
feel
bad
bad.
for him, which is I feel like I'm more drawn to him because I do feel bad for him because like
Right.
it's not his fault that his mom got knocked up and then she basically like didn't
Yeah.
let him like have any connection with his father. And they kind of briefly mention it like later that like he basically did like a DNA test and like it
Mm-hmm.
came back like Don was his father, but like kind of like one of those things where it's like nobody thinks that like he did that all on his own. I feel like she did it. Maybe he like went through with it on his own, but like I feel like she highly encouraged it.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I think it's laid out in this scene that it sounds like she has been telling him a false version of things this entire time, that like Don didn't want a part with him, like all that. Like I'm willing to bet not a single bit of that child support that was sent was actually used on Blue.
Oh,
Oh, for
probably not.
sure.
Like, and that's all. I think somewhere down in my notes, I literally wrote, "This poor boy has been abused," because we're getting some framework laid here. Not to mention talking about the emotional manipulation she's putting him through as an adult. This kid's been abused, okay?
Yep.
I'm not thrilled.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we're good.
Yeah, I do feel bad of him. And we're getting like totally different ends of the spectrum. Obviously a kid that like had like basically like nothing. It was like deprived of like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously getting to know his dad. And then we have the kid that like got whatever he wanted. Like, and
Right.
nothing against like that. Like you can't help the family you're born into.
Right.
But it's just
Yeah.
interesting if you
Yeah, I
look at
definitely
it.
feel bad for Blue because it's very obvious that she's forcing him into this. So my vision and in kind of what I'm imagining is that she knows that Dawn has money, she needs surgery, and she needs things, and she figures if her son can just casually all of a sudden have an interest in finding his birth father, and then oh yeah, blah blah blah. And like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. And then like knowing that she'll, yeah. So it's like she's using her son to get money out of her ex. And I feel so bad for Blue in that case. Yeah. He doesn't deserve to have to go through that.
Especially when it's like, I don't know, he's like the puppy-eyed, kind of innocent, and already kind of showing signs of some low self-esteem kind of thing. And it's like, gosh. Yeah, he is the one, so far, he is my favorite character. I think he's definitely the one I feel worse for. Like, I definitely feel bad for Ryan, but, like, at least Ryan's parents clearly love him. Not Blue. Yeah. So, just all around. So we go back to the concert, and yeah, so that's the I could think of. The rigging collapses, so it traps crew and a lot of people attending the concert, and the 113 jumps into rescue mode, and they're working to pull people from under the steel. And the pulley system that they try to use to lift the debris fails. Not enough power, so it forces them to improvise. And so we get a rather familiar community moment where
I called that. I literally turned to my roommate and I was like, I bet you anything all the people who aren't hurt are going to just randomly come and help the firefighters lift the rigging off of everybody. Ugh, it was so reminiscent of the fire truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And like I don't know, like I think that obviously same right, some of the same writers, some of the same creators. So I can see what they're doing. They're trying to bring up like elements and then just change them slightly. So to like kind of pay homage to like the shows, which I can't be mad at them for doing, but I'm also like I think it is like it did like draw you in on more with those scenes because you're like, oh, I can like pinpoint like a bunch of scenes that I've seen before and be like, oh, this is this is that, which is like kind of they're like little Easter eggs, but like also I'm just like, see what you're doing. It's like so many different things.
The issue I think I have with it, because it's not the scene in of itself. It's not even really that they're using that whole like, you know, the fire truck scene, like, there's not even that they're using those, because clearly those were heart-wrenching moments. We love a good community scene. We love when, especially in such like an independent society as ours, like everyone having to be their own person, a lot of people like not solid communities, at least very tight-knit communities, not very widespread. It's really nice to have those feel-good moments, but I think my issue is I feel like at every turn, every point, they've been forcing the show on us to some degree.
Yeah.
Like they're using the formulas to try and bring us in. They're using like they just, it feels like they're taking all the stuff from 911 and Lone Star and using it again because they're desperate to make us like this. And I know for some people that might be like, well, obviously they're going to do that, like they want the show to succeed, and that's, yes, true, but
you
it
think
just
they would
feels...
want it to stand on its own 2 feet and not just like recreate things, which
I don't want to be piggybacking.
Different enough, but like also it's like,
but in the soap opera
you're not
sense.
That's the one thing that's getting me, is because I think I said to you guys weeks ago before you even watched the next 2 episodes we'll talk about, is that it feels like a Real Housewives meets like First Responders.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that is so true. Which I have heard from people that's what they decided to do with this, when they wanted to make it more dramatic. I'm like, if I wanted dramatic, I'd just go watch another season of Grey's Anatomy.
I mean, as someone that actively watches Grey's Anatomy and has like will rewatch the earlier seasons, this is like 100 times worse than that. Right. Like, I actually do like some of the show. Okay, there's reasons why some shows have been on for over 20 seasons, because they actually know how to do it. This show would be lucky if we got more than a season. Right. People are supposedly enjoying it, and it's supposedly getting ratings, but not to like,
they're all AI.
Not to like make it dirty, or that's not the right word. Not to like, just like bash the show, but like, are people watching because they're enjoying it, or are people watching because it's like a train wreck? Because I don't know. That's how I'm feeling.
I think the best way to sum up what I was saying earlier is that they cannot make the success of a show simply by piggybacking off of the other shows. Amen. They cannot just ride the good wave. They've got to actually and be their own show without trying to invade the other show's spaces. That's kind of how I felt when Cammy made her cameo on the space disaster, because I was like, I didn't ask for that. Get back in your own lane. Rude.
See, I didn't mind that because it made sense for the story. If it had been like totally,
it worked. Listen, it worked for the story. I still did not like it.
That's fair. But like, it made sense. So like, I understand that people have their like issues with that. That's fine, and like that's valid. But like, it made sense, so I feel like I can't really knock it down
at this
too
point,
much.
It's just me being a little. At this point, it's just me being a little petulant, and that's okay. Like,
that's fine.
I will acknowledge that.
That's valid.
I will acknowledge that. I'm being a little petty.
I'm just saying, it's like, it made sense. That's really just,
which is also, I agree, and is fair.
Right. Yep, agreed.
But yeah, we're on the same page. Yeah. And gosh, these tangents, guys. I say like I'm not actively starting all of them. So King Brown himself helps rally civilians at the concert to lift this clap stage pieces. That's basically the crux of what happens. They free a bunch of people. Also, I'm just gonna say proud EMT and training moment here. They were treating the dad that was in the crowd. I literally called the JVD before they said it. JVD, which is jugular vein distension. You can see like the bulging in his neck. I was like, oh my god, it's JVD, and they were like, the jugular vein distension. I'm like, bitch, I called that first.
Love that for you.
This, I mean, it was good. And I was like, it was definitely very fire truck-esque season 2 911. I'm trying to be open-minded, because I also know that there are tons of firefighter shows out there who I know have had similar storylines to 911, and 911 has had similar storylines to them. So it's not uncommon for storylines to be reused. But I what Grace said earlier is, and kind of what you were Katie, talking about too, is just, I do want this show to stand on its own and not because it's repeating a bunch of 911 or other shows just to get ratings. Because the fans who truly love 911 and other series are going to realize that, and they're just going to be like, yeah, we're not going to keep supporting the show if it's just going to keep repeating.
I mean,
other
people
network.
are already not watching it is the thing.
Yeah.
Lone Star fans aren't watching it. A lot of 911 fans aren't watching it for different reasons and various reasons for that matter. So I think if people are watching it that are from those fan bases, it's because of curiosity and maybe because they're like, this is kind of a train wreck, which that's like kind of how I feel about it. Is it feel like some of it is, I won't say it's all bad. Some of it is good, but also some of it is like a complete train wreck, and you're just like, what's gonna go down, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, believe it or not, guys, we are watching this with a relatively open mind.
Yeah, it might not seem that way, but we
for sure.
Trust us, we are.
Like,
which I feel like a lot of people too are probably looking at it with the same eye we are. Just based on what I've seen very little that's any different than what we're saying.
Yeah.
Like, again, it goes back to, like, we talk about 911 and we talk about Lone Star with so much love because we have pre-established love for those shows. Like, even when they do goofy shit or ridiculous shit, we do, but we've got the love that we have for the shows underlying what we're talking about usually. So, like, we may seem like we're really harsh on this, and listen, I'll say I am being a little harsh, but we haven't got an established relationship really with the show yet, so we're just giving our thoughts.
Yeah, I mean,
like, no really cushioning. So moving on, because we're almost out of episode 1. So most victims are freed, but there's one person still trapped up on the piece of rigging. It's Manny, which I would just like to say, my note on that is, I forgot about the poor dude up there. I completely forgot about him. I was like, oh, is that it?
Yeah, honestly, like, some of these, like, the episodes blended, and I couldn't quite remember what happened where, to be honest. Like, it really did blend. He's stuck up there, wrapped in the tarp.
And Don, Ryan, and Blue climb up to reach the final victim. Very dangerous, with the tornado intensifying. And Cammy warns everyone to take shelter over the radio, but Don refuses to abandon Manny. And the episode ends with Don still stuck near the trapped person as the tornado closes in. Dun 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 dun. And that is the end of episode 1. So I feel like we gave a lot of thoughts while talking about this, but like overall, how are we feeling at this point?
I think I briefly mentioned this, but this is like, after I watched the first episode, I was just like, it didn't bring me to watch any of the next two or continue watching weekly after this. It didn't draw me in. That's the thing. I don't feel connected to the show, where when I watched like I don't remember like watching 9-1 very clearly, but I believe I was like watching when I actually started it, I was watching it like regularly. And I know Lone Star is the same thing. I watched like the episodes and it was just like I was drawn in like right away. Where this, I'm not drawn in. So I was just like, I didn't touch it for like 2 months. I was just like, it was just like I wasn't engaged with it. I didn't feel any sort of connection with it. So like I was like, and I think the first episode was a lot. It was just like, I thought some of the acting was bad, and it's not because anybody is a bad actor or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It was just like, there was a lot going on.
You're establishing a new series. You're meeting a completely new group of characters.
And they're trying to give a certain, like, they're trying to portray these characters a certain way. So I think that also played into it. So it was just like, it's not even because it's a new series, because I watch a lot of shows. I'm watching, like, like I'm always watching something new or engaging in something new. It doesn't have to necessarily be TV. So it has nothing to do with it being a new show. Like I don't, that's not how I view it for myself. So it's like, and I just, that's, it's just like I'm not connected with it, and I'm not like, yeah, the emergencies, if they're great, I'll be like, okay, good for them, but like I'm not engaged with it quite yet. I don't know if I will. We'll kind of see.
Yeah. I think I'm just like it's definitely as you guys were saying, the acting, we haven't gotten into the country accents. We did a little bit in like past times when we talked about like the promos and stuff, I think, but some of these
Yeah, I
country
don't know if even
accents.
we talked about that on here. That was the one thing that was also a
Maybe.
drawback for me, is it was just like I know I want to say a couple of them um are from there, very
Yeah.
few. So I understand that, but it's like some of it seems forced. Like you're seeing people that are not natives doing these accents. It's like
Mhm.
I think it's worse than like somebody doing a British accent. To be
Yes.
fair, like it is. I don't know. It was a real turn off for me. I couldn't look past it. Like I'm trying to. Like I'm keeping as open in mind as I can. Trust me. But like, it was a bit of a turn off.
Like by the time we hit the next couple of episodes, I honestly kind of just got used to it. But in the first
Yeah, that's how
episode,
I
for
feel.
sure, definitely little bit jarring. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I think if I had watched it like you, Katie, I probably also would have fallen off like after the first episode. I don't think it was their finest work. It just felt like they were trying too much and doing so much and actually accomplishing so little, and my brain hurt. Just so much drama. And I love drama when it's not happening to me. But just so much drama.
I love watching drama like and
Yeah.
stuff, but like I don't know. That was almost like too much even for me.
Yeah.
I really, I think I texted you guys after the first episode that I watched, and I went, "Yeah, no, nuh-uh. I'll watch it for the podcast, but that's it." Like it was predictable. The accent sucked.
Mhm.
Some actors who I have a huge respect for were I was not a fan of. Obviously, like hate Dixie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I didn't mind Blythe that much. As long as she stays like a normal human being and doesn't turn into some Southern Belle debutante. And then
Oh
I'm
gosh.
like, nope, I'm out. But I I think the actors themselves, they do have a decent cast, I guess.
It's kind of like Lone Star, where like there's some people that have been around a while, and then there's some people that
Or
like
newer.
this is like their first or like first few
Yeah.
roles.
They brought a couple big names in, and then for like a lot of the younger characters as well as the younger
Mm-hmm.
cast, they brought in a bunch of like lesser known, no
Yeah.
name kind of people.
Which
Which
I actually
I
like
don't
that.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
They've
Which
all
I
got to
think
get
is
their big break
wise.
somewhere.
Right.
They've all got to get their big break somewhere. I absolutely love 911 is that for them because it is a very well known show, whether it's the 911 proper or not one of the spin-offs. But yeah, yeah,
So I think for
I'm not trying
me,
to
like,
change.
as if I was given this show prior to the series airing and being asked to review it, I would have given it a 1 star. Flat out.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
I thought it was too predictable. And yes, I mean, I watch similar shows. I watch first responder shows. I watch medical dramas. So yes, some of it is, and and I've been and worked in healthcare for a while. I've observed a lot of things. I've experienced stuff. So of course, I'm going to be able to pick things out like Grace did. Like, oh yeah, I called that. Like I knew that was the problem, or that I can understand. Like that's cool. But just some of it was just so predictable. And then having like, oh, the community come and help, and I'm like, we already had this happen. And yes, I get that it's important. And yes, there's a tornado coming, but it just, I was sadly disappointed. And I wanted to say better things. I can't. And I will give it a chance. I will watch more. Because, and again, like as I said earlier, we are getting introduced to a whole lot of new characters. There's so many people we have to meet, and they're not going to just like start the first episode with like giving you a whole rundown of everybody's wiki page just to give you the information that you need to know for the series. So we're going to learn stuff as we go, like why a certain person is the way they are, or what their backstory is that makes them who they are now. And I get that. I just, after the first episode, I was like, yeah, I would not come back to this. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if we weren't talking about it, I think it would have taken me. I don't even know if I would have came back to it. Maybe after the first season aired.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say, but I guess moving on to the next episode.
Yeah, let's move on. I think a pretty unanimous first episode, not winning an award. Now we're moving on to the second episode, and we start off with we're back at the tornado. We're kind of back just where we left off. And it's them saving the tech guy, Manny. And can I just say I have an issue with this entire scene?
Yeah.
It's, and I'll tell you why I have an issue with this scene. It's really straightforward. It's just, I was watching it, and it was not on the edge of my seat. I was not worried. I was just watching him, like, being half suspended through the air, floating there, and I was going, the actual fuck is that?
I'm like,
yeah, I've seen that going into a vortex or something, and it doesn't even feel real.
Like, I was like, this kind of just feels like I just saw this in Twisters and Twister and a few other shows. Like, not original.
Yeah.
And also, like, I just didn't feel like they did, like, the whole... I didn't feel like they did the setup well of it either, like, with him just being, like, half suspended. What, like, okay, there's also a broken arm somewhere in the mist there as well, but I guess we're ignoring that for right now. Anyway. Also, with Gus that strong, could they really hang on all that well? Like, no. I will say that, like, that was the first time I'm pretty sure that was the first time, I could be wrong, that Blue said dad. So there was that. I did rewind it to catch. I was like, was that Ryan or was that Blue? And I was like, oh, that's Blue. So, you know, okay, we got that. But, like, the rest of it, pass. Miss me with this whole first wave of the tornado.
Yeah.
Then it passes and everyone's fine.
Yeah, I took away nothing from it, to be honest, to the point that I don't really remember that scene. I just remember that it felt like we were going into a vortex, or something was happening, and then it was just over, and I'm just like, okay, moving on. Like, it really did nothing for me.
Agreed. It just was whatever. And then we move on, and we get an interesting call. We've got an emotional birth call. On the dispatch side, Cammy is helping a distraught teenager, 14 years old, whose mother goes into childbirth during the storm. There are power lines down on their storm shelter, so they can't get out. And the mother's labor is progressing, so Cammy guides the daughter through labor over the phone. Can I just establish right now, this poor child!
Yeah, this poor girl. I can't imagine being that age and having to help your mother, like, deliver her baby.
Yeah.
Also, there was no hold the baby's head. There was no like instruction on how to keep the baby alive when it first comes out. Or it's just, just get ready to catch, which, like, maybe an adult would know. Okay, make sure the head is aligned. So, because babies' heads are big, the neck cannot support their weight. There is a whole reason why for months after the baby is born, you have to support its head. But a teenager might not know that, like, especially a younger teenager. So, I don't know, I felt so bad for this poor kid. Like, obviously, needs must, she was the only person around. I'm not necessarily saying that, like, anything was, like, wrong, other than my gripes with the head bit, but, like, I just poor kid. And then the baby is born as amniotic sac. And the daughter calls it an alien.
She was calling it that before, like, we saw, like, what was going on. And so, like,
actually, I thought it was an absolutely
babies' heads can be misshapen, like little cone heads. like when they're born, and it's just like, okay, and then you see an
I just thought
amniotic
that was
sac, and
I
I'm
thought
like,
that was a completely
oh,
normal. I thought that was a completely reasonable reaction to a young teenager seeing a baby for the first time. Like, I thought that was perfectly reasonable. I was like,
yeah.
it's probably
Although
all
it
sad,
makes
felt like a
sense,
horror
like
movie.
what they were doing here, and I have seen this like in other shows, so I did find it like interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And there have been times when babies are born and the sac has not ruptured. So it's not the first time that's happened. It's just
Well,
like
like
having it come out.
normally, from what I know, that like if it doesn't like break, they will break it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's funny because like with when my mom with me, her water broke, but with my brother it didn't. And like it's always like in the movies and the TV shows
Mm-hmm.
that like when the water breaks, they make it look so dramatic that it's like a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but really it's like when it breaks for the most part, sometimes it can be like not that much, and for the most part it's not that much, and then you like leak little by little. And then it's like in shows it's like gushing. And then of course when they actually break it, it is like gushing, because obviously
Yeah.
we yeah.
Well,
Lot of water. People think they pee themselves for a reason.
honestly, I could see where the girl's coming from, but I I was looking at the size of this thing and I'm like, how did the mom deliver this thing without it? Yeah, because normally when the amniotic sac hasn't been broken and you go into labor, they do pop it before the child is born. And
Right.
honestly, once the amniotic fluid is gone, the child is going to suffocate in the womb if it's not doesn't come out. So if the
Right.
baby's in there for a long time, so when you have your water break, you don't have that long for that child to survive. So like, okay, but then like it was just like, oh, she just gave birth to this whole thing. It didn't pop. How on earth did this happen?
I know. And like yeah, it was funny her calling him an and it was like saying it was an alien, and then like Cammy having to be like, well, just like basically tells her to like pop the sack with her finger, or like, make so it tears or whatever to get the baby out, and like obviously she's not breathing. And
Right.
so she has to perform mouth to mouth, and I'm like, this is when I'm like, again, this poor girl, because imagine having to do that to your baby sister, and like it's just like, and I think even you could tell by her reaction that she's just like uh
Yeah.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
luckily she did, the baby did start breathing and
Mm-hmm.
crying, which good. I was like, thank God.
I'm not even going to get into my issues with that part of the scene. I'm not. It's just whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I
I
mean,
have issues as far as the whole medical aspect of things go. Also, where's the fucking suction unit? I don't.
I
Dude,
mean, you have to keep in account that they're
like,
literally in a storm shelter, that they have
yes,
none of the right things
which
for.
is
Right.
They don't even
Yeah.
have towels.
which is why I am I like, obviously these are, I my brain is going through what should be there, which is I should ideally be there,
Yeah.
obviously keeping that in mind, but also being like, okay, we're rolling with this. Okay, fine, the baby's fine. Whatever.
That's,
My it's just sending me into a little bit about
yeah.
this, but you know what? And also, fortunately, that like the crews were right outside, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just the fact. My anxiety was going off because babies are so fragile. Children are so fragile in general, especially like their respiratory system. Respiratory
Mm-hmm.
distress is the number one reason that babies go into cardiac arrest, or children in general, because their lungs are less developed. And so my brain was like, okay, even if you get it back with mouth to mouth, like you need to clear out the airways. You need to like, especially you push the amniotic sac all over, like right in their nose. So my brain's doing that. But fortunately, they were right outside. They were just clearing everything off of the like the doors. It was fine. My brain, I was mainly just going for this poor child.
Yeah.
That's my this poor
X2.
child. All around, both of them. X2. Also, poor mom.
Yeah.
She had to deliver a baby without any painkillers, anything. Like, this poor mother.
Right?
Yeah. Superwoman right
Just-
there. Like, women do it all the time.
Mhm.
And not to, like,
Yes.
discount anything, obviously, that's not what I'm doing. But, like, Superwoman. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say about that.
Yep.
On.
Better than me. No, thank you. So, moving on. Blythe shows up at the firehouse, and she knows about Blue, and she is not happy that Ryan is the one who told her about Blue at the firehouse, so to speak. And because Dom forgot to tell her.
Yeah. You know what was also funny about this whole thing is that when Ryan did tell her, she already knew.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
he thought he was like telling this information to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I know."
Right.
I think the thing she didn't know was that he was trying to get her, like, he was getting Blue into the firehouse.
Right.
That's what she didn't know, I'm pretty sure. But like at the same time, it's like, oh, okay. So absolutely no one having any communication whatsoever.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And she is worried about Dixie trying to get back in their lives, which
You should be.
yes, you should. Yes, exactly. You should be.
All right.
Overall, actually fair and reasonable. Actually, I think at that point is when I wrote in my notes, Blythe might actually be reasonable, and by the end of the scene, I put cut that she's reasonable. But I wasn't sure how I felt about her yet in the first episode. In the second episode, I was like, actually, she and Ryan's are the only ones with brains and any good sense. That's how I was feeling this for a second. So, moving on, we get oh yes, we haven't really mentioned this the whole time. Ryan is married.
Yeah.
And his wife is named Sam. And Sam shows up at the firehouse and serves Ryan with divorce papers.
And I'm just like, yeah,
that's a thing.
Well, it's just like I understand why she did it, because obviously when you do something like that, you want to do it in like a public place where other people are around, because you don't know how they're going to react. It was just like the way she just showed up in the middle of the shift with divorce papers, and it's like, oh, how nice of you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's interesting.
And like they kind of establish, like in this scene, it's not necessarily that they don't love each other anymore. It's just like clearly they're not working through their problems. They've not been working through their problems, and it sounds like the marriage has been on the rocks for a while.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
I did feel bad for him, because obviously it was kind of seemed like, you know, she kind of, or like he wasn't doing things, but she kind of was. But then it was also like, I don't know. It was very complicated, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. And I think I went like, she did. I served him at work.
I know. I forget like what my initial
reaction. Bad. I was like, oh, like obviously, I guess it makes sense. Like you do need to do it around other people, but no, like go out for dinner or something. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, like to serve papers, it can't be the person that's an active participant of the papers. So, like, she really shouldn't have been the one serving him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works in that sense.
I was asked to serve papers, and it can't be part of the party of the people serving the papers. So, like, she really shouldn't have been the one doing it.
Yeah, I don't know how it works when it's like a divorce.
Well, that was what this was for. But every state's a little different too. So I was like, yeah. And then like, there's a hint mentioned that like they work well together on scenes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so.
Yeah, that I was like, is she a firefighter? Is she a doctor? Is she a nurse? What?
Right.
Like,
yeah, well, I already knew that she was a doctor. So like, that wasn't really a surprise to me.
Also, one of my notes in this scene is like earlier, because we're getting Ryan like showing Blue around, that kind of thing, and I get the impression that he's kind of reluctantly liking Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like as not as like a brother or anything, but as a general person.
Right.
So I was like, oh, he's like reluctantly like.
Yeah.
And also at this point, I was wondering how old everybody is. Like particularly Blue, Ryan, the girls. Like everyone just seems so ambiguous. I'm really curious because I feel like in Lone Star and in 911, we had a variety of ages on the cruise, and everyone on this one except for like Dawn, and I presume Roxy's a little older because she's a doctor and had time to be a doctor before being a firefighter. I presume she's got to be a little bit older, like at least definitely not in her 20s. I would probably say 30s, maybe.
I would say mid-30s.
Yeah.
Because take especially if I don't know how, I assume she was like somewhat established too in that. And who knows, maybe she was like a medic first and then she went to med school. A lot of that happens a lot of time where like people like will do that before going
I
to,
mean,
like,
we
med school.
literally saw that with Hen, even though Hen's was like I have a couple people in my class right now that are taking EMT before starting medical school or doing stuff like that. So there are people going into it with the intention. Hen never had the intention of it. Who knows what's happening with Roxy? But like, yeah, my whole point, like, she's probably the oldest out of the group that's not Dawn, and even then she's still in the like mid-30s is still on the younger side in my opinion. So I have a lot of questions about ages just because I want a timeline, okay?
Yeah, like they really didn't give us one in Lone Star either, like to compare it to that. And like it's just, I don't know. I do want to know certain things and I hope they deliver with that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So many
at some point they gotta. So then we have Blythe and Dixie having a talk, and it's not a good one. And Blythe essentially is just saying that she knows Dixie's up to something and says she has to stop it. Like, if she is, stop it. And it's, I'm
like, oh, here we go. Like,
the
literal cat fight. Because, like, two women always have to argue about a dude. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I literally,
it's like the love triangle, but without the act of love. I don't really know what to say.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think she's necessarily going after Don as a person. She's mostly just going after his money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's clearly got some sort of slight about them being exes, but like, who knows what's going on with that. But like, as I put this much later in my notes about a different scene, but I will use it here. Why are two women fighting over this mediocre ass man? This always happens. Ladies, just leave them.
Right?
Anyway, moving on. I've got it together, I promise. So we've got a sightseeing tourist from out of town. Seattle.
Naturally.
Hi, EJ.
I was like, as soon as he said I'm from Seattle, and I was like, oh, you're fine then. Like, I get it. I'd probably do the same thing. I was just like, I mean, I'm like, we call people around here that have umbrellas tourists. So
honestly,
you guys are used to
I feel that. That's like,
you guys are used to.
I'm trying to think of like the snow version of that. I think the version of that is every time I go to Florida and people are wearing like parkas when it's like 60 degrees outside, and me being New Yorker, I'm like, oh, we don't pull those out unless it's at least 30s and under.
Right.
And it's snowing. We don't put our snow boots on until it's actually actively snowing, where you're like, oh, we're going to get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's my equivalent.
Like, it's just started snowing today, and I'm still running around in flip-flops.
Yeah, well...
I don't even know what the Maryland equivalent is, because our weather just throws fits.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so does
constant
ours,
fits.
Though. Like,
it does. Ours just cannot decide a personality, and so it wears a different one every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's funny.
Like, ours is almost 50 degrees. It could be almost 20 tomorrow. Like, Like,
Yeah.
okay, we could have a tornado blow through, or we could have a nor'easter, like, or we could have a snowstorm for the first time in almost 10 years. Like a proper blizzard, not a snowstorm. We had a snowstorm last year, but a proper blizzard for the first time in almost 10 years. Like, Maryland is incredibly crazy.
Yeah.
But
I just one thing I
we
love
just ride
about
on.
this scene is the fact that like so yeah, like and they're like warning him about the weather and he's just like, oh whatever, like and stuff. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, uh I mean, as much as I want to call like bullshit on like weather, sometimes you want to trust the locals and not be
Yeah.
like, hey, I have worse where I'm from. And I'm just like, well, you're not
Right.
from there.
There is that.
Exactly.
It
You
is.
gotta trust the locals. I think
Yeah.
even if it's just you going across the states instead of a different like actual country, but like yeah. Prospectively, think about how many countries could fit into the US.
Mm-hmm.
And so many countries have different weather, like prospectively. Anyway, like also it is worth mentioning that this guy just like ended his engagement, and his fiance called him too stubborn. So I think there's also
that
a
was
point
part of it.
here. But yeah, so he ends up in danger,
And we don't
obviously.
really get any more from that until like 2 scenes from now.
Yeah, we get him regretting and texting his ex-fiance to be like, I'm sorry, can we work this out? It'd be better with you. And then the tornado bears down on him. And it's like, oh, okay, bye-bye. Like, we'll see where you end up. Maybe.
Yeah.
We get like our first bit of personality from the girls, really. So we get Taylor and Roxy checking up on Ryan because they saw Sam serve him the divorce papers. But they're bringing him like warm socks from the freshly done laundry and making him hot chocolate. I'm like, this is also how I show love. This is also how I would do this. So love that.
This is
and
like
there's a whole theme about keeping warm socks around as well, which I'm like,
yeah, it's like very Firehouse coded because like everyone hears everything. I think one of my best friends like literally explained it with her experience as like the firehouse being like the nail salon.
everyone is.
I always
I
love that. I think of her every time.
Mhm.
And I see scenes like this. I think about that exact thing that she's told me. And
Right.
basically everyone knows everything. You can't really keep secrets. And
Not wrong.
like I do love that they're doing that. And it was a
You tell
very
one person
sweet
something?
scene.
It really was. And like he does thank them. And so it was just an overall sweet. And then he hugs them and yeah. I loved that. We got like our first real bit of personality with the girls. We got like that connection between them and Ryan. It was just great. Loved it.
Yeah, a lot more opportunity to see that the family they're part of.
Yeah. I think it's like
it felt very
hard.
sibling coded.
Yeah,
it
really did.
It did.
I think it's also hard because like we're getting to know them while like they're going into like this huge emergency. So like we're only getting bits and bits at time. I think like the first 3 episodes or the first few episodes, let's just say, for any show is like hard because like they want to introduce like the concept, but they also want to like you to get to know the characters and it's like juggling a lot. So it's always like so complicated.
Yeah, for sure. And I presume we're gonna get like more actual story lines with them later on in the season. But I won't say I'm like the biggest fan of how they've served so far as like more passive characters. But it's fine. I can roll with it. I will probably make my judgment as far as like how well things were fleshed out, like more towards the actual end of the season rather than by episode. I say that I make judgments on that all the time with 911 on, hey, you're not doing enough of this, like fix it. Regardless, moving on. So we get to the water tower rescue. The tourist got stuck up and impaled on a water tower.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Because of course he did. So Ryan and Roxy go up there and coordinate this rescue. Blue hotwires a crane to help save the tourist. And I love how it's just a running theme of, do I want to know how you learned that?
Right.
Later.
This very much gives like, it is like that scene with like Marvin and Athena where it's just like for the once he has to do something that he was already doing that was bad and making it a good. Where this is different,
Right.
where this is showing that like he obviously has a lot of street smarts and stuff, and like although he's new to like this whole like firefighting thing, like he does
Mhm.
have like a lot of other skills that do
Yeah.
come in handy, like obviously. So it is like an interesting aspect of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the rescue is successful. Torres is saved. And there's like sort of a fleeting sense that Ryan and Blue can work together. And you know what? I was gonna say something. I'm gonna save it till we get after this next part of the scene because it is more relevant. So as the crew is heading back from the water tower rescue, tragedy strikes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Their captain, Don Hart, is struck by lightning in the Timuist Timu of
Lightning
6, what was
strike.
it, 12? Was it 12? There's somewhere along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, it was like just the way that like, you know, obviously Lone Star season 1, when Billy got struck by lightning.
Yeah.
We
And
literally just
then,
talked about this and I already forgot about it.
yeah,
I
and
forgot
then
about Billy.
and then obviously Buck did, and then obviously for anybody who watches Fire Country, I still haven't seen this episode, but Vince did and Fire Country, so
Which,
it's just like I
yeah.
get that lightning strikes have also probably happened in plenty of shows. I'm just saying I think it's funny that they're using this. And this, I get it makes sense. It does make sense that this, if they were going to do some type of thing that happened because of the tornado, it would make sense that it was lightning strike. But even so, I'm just like, oh, we're using this one. Okay, interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. No, what are you saying?
I was just gonna say, yeah, it was very obvious. And it just Blue and Ryan walking away and he just gets hit. And I'm like, oh. Like I didn't even gasp. It was just like
The funny thing is you could not pay me to care.
It was just like, oh, of course they're gonna do that.
right?
I think I was doing my makeup while watching this episode, which is why I actually have some limited like thoughts written down because I was doing my makeup. Because I'm about to go to work. And I just went I like rolled this. So I was like, oh, we can see how this went. But so Ryan is desperately trying to save him. There's panic, CPR. And I'm just okay. This is what I was gonna say. Biggest this whole they have Blue out here on this random ass like exception, like a fire cadet exception, which is not generally granted for this kind of thing. Like in this particular circumstance, like it's far more used as an exemption, as like an exception to keep someone from flunking out of the fire academy, more than it is to get someone to bypass and ride in the field as like untrained. So Blue is here. He is untrained. Ryan is having to walk him through CPR, and this man is out here on helping man of. I have so many issues because he doesn't have a lick of training. He's out there. It'd be like if someone handed me a hose and went, "Oh yeah, go put out that."
Yeah.
I have not been through Fire 1 yet. I don't know how to manage the hose. Like, I have been griping with this throughout the entire tornado thing because he's rolling out on the calls. He doesn't really know how to do any of this. But this in particular, where Ryan is having to desperately try and save his dad, but he's also trying to walk Blue through how to do the rescue breaths for CPR. It's just like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like, no offense to Blue, this is not his fault, but he's kind of useless.
Yeah.
That's again not his fault, but it's
and he
so
does kind of feel like that. He, it's not like he's not acknowledging it, which is good on their part for him to acknowledge that.
And like, I this is another like I feel bad, but also I'm just like, how in the fuck is this supposed to make sense? I'm like, I don't get it. I don't agree. So yeah, that was bothering me. If y'all couldn't tell, I was very bothered by that.
Yeah, I was a little. I mean, like, I know there's special circumstances with becoming, and there have been other cases where a cadet is brought in instead of a probie for like on the job training, but I would imagine it, like you said, it's more for living out in the middle of nowhere, and you don't want to have your, maybe your one other person for training, going and being gone for however long training is to become a firefighter. So you're going to get some on the job training before you go or whatever, that makes more sense than, oh yeah, you're my son and I just want to have you here and teach you everything I know. So I'm like, that's not, and I can't believe that the fire department would allow that.
Yeah, it's you know what it's giving? It's giving like, oh, I missed out all these years of your life and I just want to play like throw ball with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what the vibe I was getting too.
Yeah. And it's giving a little bit, oh my gosh. It's giving a little TK. And the reason I say this is because TK joined the fire department to be close to his dad.
Yeah.
He joined to have a connection with him. And it's giving that, but like
and
Blue,
like that,
do you really want to be doing this? Like, or do you just want to be with your dad? Like,
and that's a little bit different because obviously like that was more established and we didn't honestly learn that out until this final season of Lone Star. So at least we had that.
Which is very true.
But
and TK had been a firefighter for a while. He started to become paramedic like partway into the series. So yeah, as you said, it was established. Right. And we're just seeing like a different end of it. But it is definitely giving those vibes. And also like, no, I just don't like any of it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like I'm kind of warming up to it, but it is interesting. And obviously, to be honest, I obviously all the episodes were out when we were watching them, or at least the ones they've aired so far is what I mean. I mean, these are all the ones we didn't have to wait in between because we kind of, didn't watch it. But so like watching the scene where he gets struck by lightning, like I don't really care. And honestly, I'm not invested enough to be like, oh my god, is he gonna die? But I knew, like, knowing the show, I knew what they were gonna do. Like, they were just gonna have, like, this random emergency, and then it's just like, oh, he's gonna be fine. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, what are they gonna do with this?
Yeah, it's just, like, I don't mind Blue being out there, but it's just, I wish they'd gone about it a completely different way. Like, it's because it's just so... whatever. But I'll leave it. I think I mean it. But it also includes a rush to the hospital, which, by the way, I flipped out in my notes about this as well, just simply because of like different transport rules. I don't feel like I need to go into them actually, but I had an entire moment where I flipped out in my notes going.
911's done similar things on occasions, so I'm not really like too flipped out over that.
I think I flipped out over it because I know I know the standard rules of like transport. I know they're trying to get him to a particular facility, but if it's a life or death matter, you get him to a facility that can help him stay alive. Don't have to go to a specialty center right away. But
right.
Whatever. It's fine. Like, again, this is just as I learn more about how like the inner workings of things, I flipped out a little bit more on this one because I was like, how does that? But also, like, it's not that big of a deal, which is why, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Cammy's on the radio guiding them, but Dawn is unresponsive and in critical condition.
Right, the episode the way they were gonna go, like they couldn't get through because of like it was too
debris
backed up. Yeah, there's debris in the road and there are a lot of cars around, so like they had to kind of reroute essentially.
Yeah. And she calls every available unit to make a path for the fire truck to the new route for the hospital.
Right.
And so the episode ends on this cliffhanger with Dawn's fate being uncertain and The 113 is together, and like everything is just hanging in the balance. So another cliffhanger.
Right.
Moving on. So everyone's in the hospital after Don is struck by lightning. And the doctor's still working on him, which I would like to mention. Sam is one of those doctors. And then Blythe shows up and she hugs Ryan, and she meets Blue for the first time. And he says that he's a new cadet, but she says she knows he's way more than that. And honestly, like, I don't know, she was really sweet towards Blue. And that made my heart feel very good.
She could have, well, no, not even, I was gonna say she could have been worse, but honestly, like, that wouldn't have been fair to him because it's not his fault that his mother is, like, doing whatever she's doing. Like, that's not his fault. Right. So, like, that, like, I liked how she respected him, as I'm sure he respects her. I liked that, because they could have written it to be, like, a lot worse, but, like, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Which is nice that they did it that way and they didn't do it where she's got a cold shoulder to him or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Like, this gives me, and maybe this is more in the fanfic territory, but like this gives me the idea that like if for whatever reason Dixie hadn't wanted Blue, like Blythe would have welcomed adopting Blue into the home. Like that she holds no animosity towards this kid as it should be. Like, none of this is Blue's fault. He never chose to be here. Like, right. He never chose to exist. Somewhere in this whole thing, like, Blue calls Dixie and explains the situation. And she's being, like, super manipulative and weird and...
Well, I should come up there. You need to be with somebody. You shouldn't be up there alone.
Yeah, but they're not there for you.
Man.
That kind of...
And also, he's there with everyone else, so, like, I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah. But that is also where I put, fuck that bitch. I just, like, fuck her. Mm-hmm. And Blythe tells everyone that Don would want them to do, like, go out, get back out there. Well, she asks Ryan what Don would want them to do, and it's essentially get back out there because there's another bad tornado going about. And Ryan is essentially in charge because he is lieutenant. So he is in charge now that they're down. Do I think it's the wisest idea to have everyone going back out after that? No, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
it is what it is.
I like that they did that because it's like, yeah, like, what are they supposed to do? Like, sit there and just wait? Like, I know in some circumstances you would.
Yeah.
But, like, even so, like, it's
like, in this instance, it works. There's just so much happening, and they do need all hands on deck out there. So then we have storm chasers.
Of course we do. I was just like, when I saw this scene, I was just like,
idiots.
Of course.
Yeah. And, like, of course we do. So they're driving through the field, and they get in a huge car wreck, and it causes more people to get into a car wreck, and it's all evacuees. Like, this is a mandatory evacuation zone they headed into. So now everyone's trapped. So they arrive, they have to evacuate people from the cars and storm shelter. But then, the girlfriend, the storm chaser girlfriend, says her boyfriend's still out there. And as they run out there are tools flying at them. Katie, your note, I didn't even think about it. Katie put in our notes that it reminds her of the scene in Lone Star from the bull breeding facility.
Okay, guys, I went through, I don't even know what to call it, because I was like, I knew it reminded me of, I could think of the scene, or I could think of a certain line in the specific scene where it's like Judd laughing and being like, hey, welcome to Texas, and I could not think of what exactly was happening in the scene. So obviously it was like the bull breeding facility, but like I was like, and I was Googling it, nothing was coming up, but like I sort of remembered what episode it was, and so then I rewatched the scene and I'm like, oh, this is what was happening there. And honestly, I had a lot of fun just like watching the scene again because I'm like, oh, this is such a funny scene. And I was even like Grace was like they were asking like the facility was, and she was just like, and like asking what was basically in there, and she was just like calling it bull stuff, which is even funnier. And so yeah, it
Yep.
like totally gave that vibe of like that, and I just like I couldn't even be mad at it because it was just funny.
Yeah. That's a great note though, because I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it definitely gave some of those vibes. And like during the scene, Blue does actually save Ryan by pushing him out of the way. So kudos to him. Play. And then after all of this, there is a fire tornado.
And I couldn't even like keep a straight face. I just started laughing because I was just like, first we had a B-nado and now we have a fire tornado. And honestly, it was kind of cool looking, so I'm not even mad about it.
I actually really liked it because it looked really cool. Also, 4 are more likely to happen than a B-nado. And this they trumped that at least. But yeah, love that. Also, I just looked at my notes because these are funny. They did a whole thing about like using the backboards as shields, and Ryan gets the idea from talking about like the Romans and archers and stuff like that. I went, not the Roman Empire, because men in their Roman Empire.
Oh God.
So he says it's Don who listens to the history stuff, and I'm like, still, you're the one who brought up the Roman Empire.
Right?
Yeah, the whole shield thing reminds me of something else. I just can't pinpoint what scene it was.
Yeah. Also, my other note in this is I want to see these brothers be brothers. God damn it! Like I do. I want to see them be brothers properly. I know we got a little while for that, but like,
yeah,
I want it. And also, thank you for acknowledging this man needs training because that came up as well.
Yeah.
All right, it's coming up then, if it's not already here. So in this whole thing, Blythe finds out that Dawn has heart damage, but they have to run tests. And she has this whole like emotional conversation with Sam, and we get into the aftermath of the Storm Chaser call. So it's basically Ryan thanking Blue for saving him, and Blue says that he just shoved him, which he's been wanting to do.
Which honestly, that was fair.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And
Right?
Ryan says Blue has good instincts. I think that is what leads up to the training part. Like he says, like, you need training, but good instincts. Yeah, they're warming up to each other. Again, I want to see them be brothers. God damn it.
Yeah, and like, yeah, obviously there was that line like earlier that was like, oh, they could work well together, which just like gives me like the vibe of like, it's kind of like they have a similar vibe that Buck and Eddie do when they first meet, where Buck is like just not into it, or like he's just like so against it for like obvious reasons, and then like later in the episode it's like, oh yeah, work well together, and it's just like that's what this gives me too, just like a different feel, but either way, good on that.
And then they end the scene also, like the hoses are leaking a little bit because they've gone hit and nicked. And Ryan says that they'll just have to get to the station to mend them, and hopefully nothing happens on the way there. On my notes, I have in parentheses, hopefully nothing too wild happens between now and then. Oh, shut up. Because what do you mean you're tempting fate?
That's exactly jinxing right there.
Yeah, I did think of the same thing. I was like,
literally, I said,
say that.
I was like putting on my powder over my makeup. I literally just went, oh, shut up. Yeah. A whole thing. Then we get Blythe with Dawn in the hospital, and she's talking to him and basically laying her heart out on her sleeve, like talking about, if it's his time to go, kind of thing. And he does wake up, and he's like, you can't get rid of me that easy. Cute enough, like, yay.
Yeah, I don't even know.
We all have such emotions of like and feelings about this show, and yeah, I think
I'm just nodding my head because y'all are on top of it, and I was like, yeah, this is my roommate and I were tearing apart this show the whole 3 episodes we watched, so yeah, you should have heard us.
I think this is when I put in my notes, Blythe, sweetheart, I could treat you so much better. You're
Honestly,
wasting it
fair.
on this man.
Yeah.
I don't tend to go for older women. No. In this case, I make an exception. Just let me get you away from this man. I will destroy your whole marriage, and I'm not even going to be mad about it. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So the team finds out about Dawn and wants to FaceTime. And somewhere in this whole scene, I put puppy eyes about Blue. And what I loved in this scene, before we get into the shit that's about to follow, what I loved about this scene that I literally told Katie and EJ before we recorded was that there's a scene where they're on the staircase, like they're all piling on because they want to FaceTime with the cap and all that. And I just was like, oh my god, they're siblings. Because it gave sibling energy.
Yeah.
Especially,
It really did.
Especially with them all like being vaguely in the same-ish age bracket.
Right.
I was like, yes. I love it. There's a whole bunch of siblings wanting to talk to dad. That's just how it gave. But Blythe says that he's not decent when she gets to the room and realizes Dixie is there.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, again, predictable.
She's like, he'll have to call you back. And it's like Blue's comment is like, I guess he was indecent. Which I did find a little
really
funny. And it's just
Yeah,
like, of course
I like
she's
that.
there. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
We have to sit through her whole sob story, whatever that was. Honestly, I just blocked half of it out. And I'm just like, give us a break. Because she's milking.
Oh, yeah,
things.
for sure. Well, I just hope he's okay. And
My poor
I'm so worried about you, like that kind of thing.
I don't know.
And I was like, such a move, and Blythe basically shoos her out, like, okay, off you go.
Threatening to call security on her, which I'm like, bars. And Dawn saying, that wasn't very Christian of you. And she goes, oh, really? There's only so much a Christian woman can take.
And I was like, that was funny. I did find that very funny. It was just like the way he called her out. And I mean, she was in the right. It's like, why is she there? And it's just like, yeah.
Also, can I just say, I'm a certified Dawn part hater, I think, at this point. Because why was this man entertaining it? Why was this man going along with it? Why wasn't he backing his wife up on anything? Why was he like entertaining the whole hand-holding bit? Why was he not standing on his ground and respecting his wife?
Yeah, he was being way too nice.
He's very naive.
Yeah, that too.
I don't think men are ever that.
Yeah, he very much gives the vibe that he doesn't see what obviously is clearly there.
Yeah,
he's kind of like wishy-washy on the whole thing,
and I don't like it. Like he should have been standing on his ground, defending his wife, defending his marriage, not letting her get a single inch, and he should have been respecting his wife, and he wasn't. And I am a certified hater for it.
At least the blanket was still covering him.
At least there was that.
True.
And I will read out my notes for everyone, because within a span of like less than a minute, I wrote out this escalating thing of this fucking bitch, and then in all caps, this fucking bitch. Obviously, all about Dixie. Then why are two women fighting over this mediocre ass man? And then why is this mediocre ass man ever? Why did this mediocre ass man ever stray his eyes away from this gorgeous woman? Because you mean to tell me he had Blythe? And this is not to shame anyone on their looks. I just personally think Blythe looks more put together and is personally prettier. And he went with Dix. You would tell me his eyes ever I am.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Then the whole nickname of Don.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was so, like, honestly, I did not pick up on that because I probably just blocked it right out where it didn't go. It went in one ear, went out the other, because it's just like, ew.
It made me think of, oh gosh, y'all are gonna have to forgive me making a Harry Potter reference.
I'm probably not gonna get it anyways. But
have either of you seen Harry Potter or read Harry Potter?
Yeah, all of the above.
Okay, cool. EJ will get it. Would you get it, Katie? I don't know if you've watched or read it.
No, I have not. Like, I was afraid of it as a child, so I've never watched it. I think I've told you guys this.
I don't remember. That's why I wanted to double check. That's fine. EJ, I'll say this because you'll know what I'm talking about. And any listeners who know Harry Potter. It makes me think of Lavender and our potato one when he's
I think I have heard of that.
One.
that's what it makes me think of. Thank you. You got it.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that term in a long time. Whew. That was a good laugh.
Anyway,
I needed it.
You're welcome. Sorry, Katie.
No, you're good. You're good.
Anyway, there's that. So Dawn sees more EF3s are coming, and Bly's like, don't even think about it. Like, you're not going out. And I'm like, yes,
and we already know where this is going. Well, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't go necessarily in the direction it goes in, but I'm like, oh, of course.
Yep.
And so we get a tornado call, and this dad has one kid go to the back of the trailer while he goes to look for his other son at the park. And at the park, when the tornado hits, the dad is crushed by a car, and they lose him, but get him back. And then the dad tells him where to find his other son, so they can bring him to the hospital. But when they get there, the trailer's gone.
Yeah, I believe Blue goes there, and then he's radioing that. Yeah. He's like, wasn't it the house with the American flag? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, he's like, yeah, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a mobile home as well, so it is definitely not nearly as secure as a regular house, which plenty of those get torn up. Plenty of those get torn up by tornadoes as well. So that's not boding. And I love my note on this was when they lost the dad. My note was, can no one in this franchise do compressions? Because those were some very flimsy, like, you did not move the chest. Like, I don't know, I presume they're doing them on a mannequin unless they're faking them on an actual person. Obviously don't.
I want to say that they're like, I want to say that they're doing it on a person and they're like trying not to break that ribs person, but like, I'm sure there's ways around it to make it realistic. Because let me just say, I've watched a lot of realistic shows that do it right.
Yeah, like 911's done it right before. Lone Star's done it right. I know of other shows that have done it right as well. Though a couple of the scenes lately in 911 have also had like interesting methods of doing compressions. But this one I was like, miss me. What the hell's that? Yeah. I don't remember if it was the same with Don when he was getting CPR earlier in the episode. I don't remember, honestly, because it was all a blur. But this one I was like,
yeah, as much as I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to, just because it's kind of new territory and I hope they improve on it. I do hope.
It's a very minor thing, and probably most people wouldn't care or clock it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just a bitch. I'm just being a little bit of a petty bitch. Moving on. So they have to find the car, and when they do, it's up on. I thought it was up on a bridge.
Bridge in town.
Yeah, it was a bridge. Okay. It's basically hanging on by a towel.
It was up in a building. It gave me the same feeling of like the car when I was up there and stuff.
And 911 said the mudslide sent a car into a building as well. So a lot of cars going all over the place.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
that was a bus. You're right.
Because remember in the crossover when like TK and Buck were like trying to out emergency each other, like, oh, we had this. We had a solar storm.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I just have
you're right.
I have like such a good memory about these scenes, and it's funny because I haven't watched these scenes in a long time, but I guess at the time I was watching them a lot, so I just have really good knowledge. Like, I've seen season 1 of Lone Star like an uncountable amount of times, so I can literally recall the random scenes about the show so freaking well.
Well done. That is helpful. You're like that about Lone Star. I'm bit more like that about 901. And EJ's there to fact check us both. She's got her back.
Oh gosh.
So Ryan has to go back and find the kid, who is basically standing on cracking glass. Lovely. And he can't get to him, so he has to tie his rescue line around the fridge, because the fridge is what is blocking the door, essentially, to the bathroom. And Ryan does that to get them out, and then the entire mobile home falls. Like, the cable snaps, it falls, and they're just there hanging onto the fridge, which is hanging onto the line. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, that works. Sam and Ryan decide to get coffee after their shifts, so they're deciding to get things under the shot. As long as they work on it, like it seems like this is the first time that Ryan's really acknowledging they have problems more than like trying to deny and move on. And honestly, I think they're kind of cute. Like I'm interested to see where they go with this, but I'm interested to see a reconciliation storyline done
I'm not
well and in a non-death.
I'm interested to see like where it's gonna go because like I could have believed that like she wouldn't be part of any more episodes and like, oh, okay, we're just getting the vibe that a divorce is happening. Okay, whatever.
I mean, I definitely got the vibes that like there was going to be some sort of intervention because it's clear like they both loved each other. She like kept popping up during the emergency, and I'm like, either she's going to be some sort of other antagonist, or they're going to like make an actual storyline out of this.
Yeah,
and
I'm not like drawn, but I'm not like uninterested. Although I would like to see like other relationships a little bit more than this. But like this isn't like the least. I don't know, explain it. I'm hoping they dive into other things, but I don't know. I'm open to seeing like the relationship and seeing or whatever. It's weird because we're like getting like an established relationship, and it's like in some senses they're doing a lot of different things with some of the characters because obviously both Bobby and Owen were both Bobby was a widow and Owen was divorced a few times.
Yeah.
And stuff, and obviously like Tarlo's developed as the show went on, where we're getting like a few established relationships, so it's interesting, and I'm hoping they maybe create new things with some of the other characters. But
I would love to see like actual relationships with people outside of the firehouse for sure. Also, like as I sort of said earlier, I want a reconciliation storyline that does not end in death. Because I'm thinking of like Eddie and Shannon. Like primarily, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We also sort of had Owen and Gwen, which Gwen moved on before she passed. Like she was with Enzo before she passed, but still, I sort of counted a little bit in that. Like I want to see something different, and I feel like they could give us something different in this.
Yeah, we'll kind of. I'll keep an open mind with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely open. I'm definitely very open as far as like the whole relationship bit of things go. And we have Kimi calling her late husband's voicemail. Listen, I did not hear it get established earlier in the episode. Like I the first time I learned it was established earlier in the episode was when we were talking about it. I did not hear anything about a dead husband when I was actually watching the episode. So this came as a surprise to me, but I also called it the whole voicemail thing, like before she actually said anything about missing him or wanting to have saved him or anything. But like I read this, I'm like, when did they establish it earlier in the episode?
Yeah,
I think I heard it as a side thing.
Well, they said it in I think it was like either the first or second one.
I think it was marked as something in our notes as in the first episode, like early on when Cammy's first introduced. I don't remember. Like so much has happened in these 3 episodes. So but yeah, so she says that she's just telling she's calling the voicemail and just telling him about her day, and she says something about how she wished she could have saved him. And it's like, okay, there's a story there. Very interested to see.
And just me thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, so he has to not have been gone that long, because if she's calling his voicemail, that means the number is still active. And you're not gonna
unless she's paying for the phone to stay active. Some people do.
Yeah, but like realistically, you're not gonna pay to keep the phone active for a really long time because obviously it's expensive. And unless she is very bankrolled, which I get that like her brother or her husband is Blythe's brother, so he comes from like the same money. Maybe. But like I'm also like realistically, it seems like it isn't that long. But that's just a random side note of something I was just thinking about. It's not really that big of a deal anyways,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna be honest,
I mean, since we're curious though.
it piqued my
Yeah.
interest. It did, especially when she said, "I wish I could have saved you." And I'm just
I'm
like,
like,
"Oh,
was
what's the
this
story there?"
was this a
Right.
trauma incident? Was this an illness? Like, what was the
Because
story there?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they develop this as.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that. I hope we learn this out real quick because I believe we do because I think I saw an article earlier. I didn't read it. Um, but it basically said like the story behind her husband, and I was like, okay. And also like I know people are talking about this where people are like about the relationship between Cammy and Blythe. So I think that's gonna be interesting to learn. Like I really don't care about hearing certain things about the show. There are a few like side storylines I know about, but like I do sort of want like some of the revelations that are gonna come out, like when we watch some of the next episodes. I kind of want to find those out on my own.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. They're definitely piquing some interest as we're leaving this episode for sure, setting up for the next few episodes. And then we also have one final scene with Blythe and Dixie. Um, and essentially they're having their whole tiff. Blythe is wondering what Dixie is up to and what she wants. And Blythe also thinks that Blue didn't find Dawn how she said she did, or she said he did, or on his own. So she is definitely very suspicious of Dixie setting something up. And she says something along the lines of her looking for. And essentially, my notes on the scene was, and I quote, 20 some odd years isn't enough because Dixie's clearly got a grudge she's holding on to.
Uh-huh.
And then in all caps, why are we fighting over a mediocre ass man?
Yeah, and this is when after I watched the scene, I'm like, oh boy, this is what we're getting.
And then I also said, girl, if he wants that trash heap, let him go.
Yeah,
Don't be fighting for this mediocre ass man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just
That's right.
like partially kind of over like them going back and forth because we had several scenes in these past two episodes in general where they're going back and forth, they're both fighting. First time Blythe shows up at like Dixie's like recording studio or whatever and stuff, and it's kind of like she has a bodyguard at the door. It's like
Mm-hmm.
she's not here, like it's you like you need whatever. And then it's like Blaze showing up at Dixie's house.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Blythe.
So
All
it's like they
right.
both have a fault in it. Like it's like
Right.
they're showing up at
Yeah,
each other's
because Dixie
different
went and
areas.
imposed on the hospital. Like, it's a back and forth. It's like, listen, I want to
That
say the
too.
girls are fine. I want to say the girls are fighting about the gays, not two middle-aged white women that should have better things to do. Okay, I don't want
That's why it's giving Real
y'all.
Housewives.
Yes. What is going on with this? Like
Yeah,
these women, y'all have lives. No better than that.
Right.
clearly they don't.
It's not worth it. Just leave the dude. We'll close out on Ryan helping Blue train, which everyone noticed training, yay! Because we have been needing it this entire episode.
Right.
And he is messing up, but Ryan tells Dawn that he thinks he's gonna make a hell of a firefighter. And it's like I think it's clear that we're watching him also warm up to Blue more as well.
Yeah.
So
Which this is when I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. Like it was very iffy in the start, which everyone had their reasons. I don't blame them there. But now I'm like, okay, this is good. We're moving in the right direction because I don't need everybody fighting like their children. That's just not it for me.
no.
It's not enjoyable. It's not. But I if this is how we're gonna continue, I like the direction we're going in. There's things obviously I'm probably not gonna like, but that goes without saying.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just want to. We got to keep it together on one area of the show at least, please. Please, while we're getting started. Yeah, so I'll let you guys go first. What are your final thoughts?
I don't even know. Like, discounting the first episode because that was a whole journey of an episode. The other two not as bad. In some parts, obviously not great. I don't know. It was better than I thought, minus the first episode, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I think this is kind of like throwing me off just because this show doesn't really fit the typical like 911 formula. Where I feel like Lone Star and 911 pretty much were in had like a similar formula of how the shows work.
Yeah.
Um, so this is kind of throwing me off of what they're doing. Um, I mean, I I guess we'll see what happens. I don't have a ton to say. I don't know. I'm interested to see when we watch the next three, like what they do with them, and I hope they utilize the storylines in a good way. I don't. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good statement. We'll see. I think I told you guys yesterday, like more than likely, I'm gonna just watch this for the podcast. I'm not watching it to entertain because I'm not entertained. It's predictable. It's not intriguing. My roommate, who's very picky as well, she actually tried to watch this show, the pilot episode, when it first aired, and she said she couldn't even get in 15 minutes into it without being bored to death. Because the action is like spurts of action intermixed with drama and other stuff, and she just couldn't get into it. And I mean, there's times when 911 does that too, where it's a little more team heavy than it is like fire call heavy type stuff. But there are things that I'm like, I don't care about this. There's most of the characters I'm not interested in. I don't dislike Don as much as Grace does, but I definitely feel like he has no backbone, which is saying something for a rodeo rider.
Right?
That's funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just no, I
He left his spine out in the ring.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's been gone for years. They fused it all together, or whatever. But and I think we, again, granted, the first three episodes were basically like a 24-hour span or 48-hour span of time. So I'm curious where they're going with his character for them, like bringing up the rodeo and then at the beginning having a rodeo scene. Like, is that going to be a regular thing for him, or is this just a one and done, or is this whole point to say like he's needing to retire from that because it's too much? I don't know. So like there's questions I have. And then again, we're just getting to know these characters and getting more backstory. I kind of liked seeing how Ryan and Sam kind of decided to maybe try again. Well, and I think too, Ryan was really upset at the beginning because I could tell he looked up to his dad and thought his dad was a god and had never done anything wrong. And then to find out that not only had his parents split up at some point, that he had a half brother and that his dad and his mom were not perfect. I could tell that he was definitely kind of heartbroken over all of that too. So how is that going to factor in as he gets to know Blue? And those are questions I have, but do I care to get an answer? Not really. Like, I will watch the shows and I will watch the episodes and I will give my response and try to keep an open mind, but I'm not sold. They would have to do something major for me to really get invested in it.
I don't see myself getting invested. The only thing I wouldn't say it makes me invested, but I'm interested, is I see potential in, like, I guess you can even call it like the younger crew, like, Ryan, Blue, Roxy, and Taylor. I'm really only like interested in what they do with their storylines, because I do think they have potential to have like good storylines or to like showcase good stories with them. But really, like, I'm not interested in anything else. Like, I could care less about this. Like, not.
And I know that I know that I'm not invested in this show because I have no desire to even go look at fan fiction for it. And that's usually a big indicator on if I have an investment in a show, is if I'm that passionate about, is there fan fiction for it?
Although now that you mentioned that, I'm kind of curious if anybody even cares enough to do that.
Okay, Grace is like,
I'm already on it. There are 115 works.
I'm kind of scared to look through this because let me just say,
I have a funny feeling I know which one's gonna be.
There are several of them. I'm sure what you're thinking.
Because before they announced that Blue and Ryan were half brothers, people were shipping them, and I'm just
listen, I was as well.
Shipping them.
I was like, oh yeah.
Found out that. I think
there's plenty of that. Don't worry.
There is
plenty of that,
and I was kind of scared.
It's not the majority so far, but there's plenty of that.
That's, I guess, somewhat promising. Because why did I see on? Why did I hear on Twitter that people were saying, "Don't, guys, they're half brother," and people like, "I don't care." Ew.
Well, there was a whole Wincest fandom, so.
Yeah,
Supernatural world, so just, you never know.
Supernatural's a whole other beast.
I
mean, I've watched shows where they're step siblings or they weren't like blood related, and the shows made it look normal. I was never into it, but I know people were.
There's also a fair amount of Dixie and Blythe fanfiction.
I could get into that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hate Dixie at the moment too much to go looking into that, but I see the potential.
Well,
we'll see if I get bored enough to actually read
Jessica
like
Capshaw, who she played in Arizona Robbins, was in Grey's Anatomy, so that's not that far up that alley.
I don't know anything about Grey's Anatomy, so you lost me there. But yeah, I mean, hey, I could get into it. So yeah, there is fanfiction. I will do a little bit of a deep dive. I probably won't read anything until, I don't know. Okay, I should do my thought.
I don't think I'm gonna read anything. If I read anything, it's not gonna be until like I watch the next episode, just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care, but I also like sort of do care.
Well, if I have similar, like if there's writers that I've read in other fandoms that are writing for it, I want to read to support them, but I wouldn't be reading it to be because I'm super invested in the series.
Yeah. I don't even read stuff anymore, like not that much. Like if it's people I know that are posting stuff, I'll for sure read it. But I don't just unless, I don't know.
Oh boy. And there is Blue X Reader. So there we go.
That's cringy.
Yeah, I don't do reader stuff at all. So
I don't either.
I will wrap out my. I'll wrap it. Don't know, dude. What the hell is this? I am not as hate it as much as I thought I would.
Okay.
I did think I would hate it more. And I think, as y'all said, it is the younger crowd that is keeping me at all interested. And it's because I want to see what goes on with Ryan, Blue, Taylor, Roxy. I want us to actually get to know Roxy and Taylor more and learn their stories. And I want to see Blue grow into a firefighter and actually form a sibling relationship with Ryan. And I do want to see how Ryan and Sam's relationship turns out. And I want to see those things. I just wish they weren't in this show.
Yeah.
I think I will have a better feeling for what I feel about the show generally when we watch these next episodes, because we're not going to have the emergency arc to fall back. So what can they do without...
How are they going to keep us in? Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the same thing. It's the same. We had those questions about 911 and the space incident and the episodes afterwards. And I have much more faith in 911 than I do in Nashville. But I'm asking the same questions. So I don't know. I know a couple of spoilers about stuff that's coming up. And those things do make me interested to watch a bit, but at the same time, I'm not really invested. I'm not really invested. If I watched just the first episode and this had no connection to anything I was already interested in, I would not continue. So I think it's, I'm like, yay, I'm not 100% put off, and they did a couple of things that I liked, but also I am not into this whole soap opera thing they're going for. I'm not into this whole drama of the fucking century that vibe they're going for. I don't watch Real Housewives for a reason, okay?
Right.
Okay, let me just put it this way. If I wanted to watch a soap opera, I would watch one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Life
like
to live as the world turns. All the old ones, passions.
I mean, when I was in elementary school, when I came home, my mom was most likely watching General Hospital.
General Hospital, yeah.
So that was actually a good one, or at least the things that I saw from it, that was actually a good one. I did kind of like another aspect that I did like is that they showed like Taylor and Roxy like working like together like on the ambulance. I did like that aspect of it because we don't necessarily always get that. Even though we didn't really get personal stuff or get like certain things, I feel like they were, even in these episodes, they were establishing a like both friendship and partnership with them very early on. So that was at least something. And I could feel like the connection with that. So very minor thing, but like that's also something else I thought of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like maybe in spite of all the things I've had to say about this show and the chaos of my notes, I maybe am I would say I might be a little bit, and by that I mean very little, but a little bit more interested in seeing what happens in these next episodes. But I don't know. I don't have any sort of. I'm just kind of along for the ride right now, I think.
Yeah, it's like
I'm keeping somewhat of an open mind, but
yeah, it's like we're not invested, but like
Yeah.
we're just gonna see what happens. Like I feel like I hate to like be like call it a train wreck, but it kind of is a train wreck
a little bit.
because
Yep.
I feel like we're just, I don't know, we're just watching the ride and watching like, well, what shit show type thing is gonna happen this episode? Like I don't really know what it is to say than that. Um, but I hope it has some sort of potential. But yeah, this is definitely wild thing. But I will say they did the tornado like pretty damn well.
Yeah. No, I did like generally what they did with the tornado.
Yeah,
And they kept the action up pretty well. I found most of the emergencies to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think out of this, what I enjoyed is hearing that the three of us, even though we are from different walks of life, different places, we all kind of have the similar mindset on our reactions to it. And not like one of us significant, like, oh my God, it's the best ever. And then the rest of us are like, yeah, no. So it's like, that's why I think the three of us get along so well. Is we do have our differences, but we oftentimes have a similar thought when it comes to our little shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Also, side thing, there are 4 pieces of 911 Nashville fanfic that are crossover with the Wednesday show.
I've never seen that. I still need to watch it.
I have not
seen
so
it
random.
But that is so random. What?
Everyone that's watched it has said that you have to watch it, and it's like, it's not like I don't want to, I just don't have it's like there's other things I want to be doing right now. Watching my shows is like already like a task in itself.
I have heard such good things about it, but I've never seen the original Addams Family, so I want to watch that first before I watch Wednesday. Just to give some context and nostalgia a little bit. But yeah, no, I was like, because I X'd out the whole incest ship of the random, and it brought up one more option, and it was Wednesday and whoever the other girl is as a pairing for Forfix. I was like, on my stupid wee woo show? This is the stupid wee woo show. 901 is a silly wee woo show.
I don't even know. Like,
just for clarity. Just for clarity.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is chaos. I had to pull up AO3 though. Yeah, we're all just along for the ride, guys.
Yeah, we are.
Still keeping it as open as we can. But I am definitely interested to see what these next 3 episodes are going to be like, and if they can turn around any of this train wreck.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Don't know that I have anything. Yeah. So, is there anything else that we wanted to say?
No, we'll be back next week with the next 3 episodes of.
Yes, we will.
I was gonna come on here, honestly, and say, "Oh, you guys watched that one? I actually watched Nashville with Connie Britton and Hayden Panettiere." Just as a joke.
Oh, you know what's funny about this? So I was Googling things because I was trying to whatever I needed to Google. I can't remember what I was looking up for the episode, or it might have even been for a video I was trying to do. And every time I type in Nashville and I forgot to put 911, it came up with that, and I'm like, not that one.
Right, which if anybody doesn't know, Nashville was a series on, I think, NBC for a while. It might have been, I don't remember what network, it might have even been ABC. And it was Connie Britton played an older country singer, and Hayden Panettiere played a younger country singer who was not doing well, and so they ended up going on tour together.
It's funny because I know, context-wise, I know about the show, but I never watched it.
Well, yeah, and it's hilarious because Connie Britton was season 1 911.
Yeah.
It was Abby, so there's a little connection there. Yeah, we'll be along for the ride for a little while, at least. See how it goes. Now that we don't have the beginning season opening emergency, it'll, I think, hopefully try to establish more of a normal routine to the episodes.
It'll sink or swim.
Yeah, and I just hope they don't go for the narrative of like the Life, Dawn, and Dixie show, because otherwise, this is going to be
that's one way for me to check out.
Yeah.
Yes. Can we all ship them off to like some super white retreat somewhere and not hear back from them until they either form a polycule or kill each other?
Let's just put them on a yacht in the middle of the ocean with no return.
Hey, send them out to the orcas.
Wait, you just get whatever that guy's name was.
Oh, Trip.
I couldn't remember his name. He is so insufferable.
Yes.
You just get him
put him on the
somewhere
boat
and then with no return.
No, put him on the boat too. Just take care of it all. The orcas will take care of them, no problem. Apex Predator. Yep. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and listening. Be sure to subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts and check us out on YouTube. For more, visit 91lsroundup.com and follow us on socials at 91lsroundup. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And of course, come join our Discord community. The link's down below and on the website.
You guys can follow me, Katie, at For the Love Tarlos on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
You guys can follow me, Grace, at RunRathla911 on Instagram and Threads.
You can follow me, EJ, at EJ8302 on Instagram and Threads. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.